And we will be just kind of asking a few questions along the way. We'd love to see your responses, and Tara's going to be looking at those and maybe calling out a few of them. So we can absolutely see your chat. All right, let us talk about how to attract your 1,000 true fans without wasting valuable time and money on marketing that doesn't work. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Bree Noble. I know many of you know me, but I'm excited to meet all of you that I have never met before on this workshop. If for some reason we aren't able to answer your question, you have to leave early, whatever. If you're watching this on a replay, you can always email me, bree@femmusician.com, and my team will make sure that I get your email and that we get your question answered. So I always want to make sure to give you guys a way to connect with me after this workshop. All right, so this workshop is for you if you are a full-time musician, a part-time musician, or even a serious hobby artist. So when we talk about getting your 1,000 true fans, that doesn't mean that you have to be a full-time musician. And when we talk about going from unknown indie artist to a professional, profitable musician, it doesn't mean you're doing it full-time. It just means that you've got a system dialed in and you are bringing in fans who love your music, and you're being able to monetize that so you can continue to do music. So just know that I work with all kinds of people that are doing this full time, people that have full-time jobs and are doing this on the side, or maybe they're a mom or they are retired and don't want to do music like full time, but is their absolute passion. Or maybe they just do it as a hobby, but as you know, many of us feel like music is in your bones, you got to keep doing it. And so it's an expensive hobby, right? So we want to make sure, number one, that we're getting money coming in to keep doing it. And number two, that our music is getting out there to people that can enjoy it. Because otherwise, why are we making this music and why are we working so hard to put it out there? So that is just a little intro to make sure you know that you don't have to be someone that is looking to get a full-time income in music to learn from this workshop and to benefit from all this training. So you are in the right place if you feel totally overwhelmed by all the information online about building a fan base. There's a lot out there. The internet is sometimes a very, very overwhelming. And I know that you guys feel like, wow, who do I listen to? You know, there's so much info, I can't even digest it all. So this is going to help condense it for you. You're in the right place if you've wasted tons of time trying to copy what you see other artists doing, but it doesn't seem to really work for you. And we'll explain why during this workshop. This is for you if you've wasted money on PR or radio campaigns that didn't produce the number of fans that you expected. So we'll explain why that happened in a minute as well. And this is for you if you are extremely passionate about the music that you're making, and you want to build a raving fan base who supports you so you can keep making more music. So if any of those are you, which I'm guessing they are, then you are in the right place. All right. So what are we going to learn today? We are going to talk about the 3 big marketing mistakes you're probably making that are keeping you stuck and broke, and how to fix them. We're going to talk about the seemingly small but crucial mental hack that can make or break your music career. And we're going to talk about how to use my foolproof music career blueprint, known as the Musician's Profit Path, to eliminate the overwhelm and build your fan base strategically so you can spend more time making music. That is the biggest complaint I hear from people. I'm spending all my time trying to figure all this out and on these marketing things that don't seem to be working, and I never have time to make music anymore. So we're going to fix that. Also, just to let you know, I do have a special bonus for action takers at the end. It is my 5 days to your first or next 100 super fans, a really popular course that I created. So let's get this started off on a fun note. How many of you guys like The Voice? I'd love to hear in the chat. I feel like this was kind of the dream team of The Voice coaches. I know now, I'm really sad that Adam is gone, and sometimes Kelly is on, and they switch them out, right? But I love Adam. So he is my absolutely favorite coach. And if I was on The Voice, I would want to be on Adam's team. So I want to present to you a competition where whoever wins this competition can get onto The Voice and be able to be on Adam's team. I want to win this, right? I love Adam. So how do you do it? This is actually not a competition about how well you can sing. This is a competition about how well and how fast you can build your fan base. And keep in mind, this is not just listeners of your music. This is not just like, oh, they heard you one time. This is like someone that considers themselves a fan of your music. So in order to win, you have to build a fan base within the next 3 months, and whoever can build it the fastest and the biggest will win. So our first contestant is Helen. So Helen is super excited. She wants to be on Adam's team. She gets to work right away. And she tries tons of marketing tactics that she's seen other artists doing, because she's like, oh, if it works for them, it's going to work for me. So, but I'm not just going to try one. I'm going to try all of them because I really want to win. So she gets a few fans, but then because she's spending so much time trying all these different tactics, what I call throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something will stick, she actually forgets to nurture the fans that she already got. And so they totally forget about her. And next, our next contestant is Christy. So Christy, instead of getting to work right away, she creates a plan. She has a plan to figure out how to attract her fans and how to engage them. So not just attract them, but also engage them. Instead of using what I call hope marketing, that throwing the spaghetti at the wall, or copying what other artists are doing, she stays in her own lane. And she builds a strategy around tactics that will work for her based upon the stage of music career that she is in. She sets goals and she breaks them down into action steps so she can reach her goals. So who do you think is going to win this competition? I want you to put it in the chat. Do you think it is Helen, who I like to call Helen the Hustler? Some people called her Haphazard Helen. Or is it Christy? Christy, who is really focused, goal setting, and she stays in her own lane. So let me know in the chat, who do you think is going to win this competition? So I think you probably know who's going to win, right? I like to say that I help the Helens of the world become the Christies of the world. And I definitely was a Helen for a long time, so I can relate. Just a little background on me. I started out singing in high school. Well, I sang way before that, but I was really, really, really passionate about singing in high school. I was in every group that I could be in. This is me and my madrigal group in, I think probably I was like sophomore or junior in high school on the left there. And then here in college, I was in a group that performed all over the Western states. We went out on weekends and performed. And I'm the one right next to that guy with making the crazy face. So I got the opportunity to record albums in professional studios, and I was absolutely hooked on being a musician, being a performer. But then I had to move. When I finished college, I moved to a place I'd never lived, a place where my husband was getting his doctorate, and I had absolutely no contacts. So I was really, really, really clueless on what to do. But I really wanted to share my talent with the world. I wanted to share my story and message, and I wanted to inspire people with my songs. And I wanted to build a fan base that loved my music and supported my career. But instead, I was working as a director of finance at the opera company. So I love opera. I wasn't singing at the opera. I was working as a director of finance because I had gotten a double degree in music and business. So instead of pursuing my artistic dreams like all these people on the stage that I was working with, I was in the back office writing their paychecks. And it was super depressing. Like, although I loved being around the arts, it was actually harder to work in an arts company because I was constantly confronted with the fact that I was not doing what I needed to do to try to live my dreams as a singer songwriter because I had no clue how. I just didn't have, school did not prepare me. They did not give me any skills on what to do. They just sent me out into the world with a great musical, talent and background and ability, but no clue. So I had no strategy. And so instead, I thought that maybe like people that were starting bands, they had more of a strategy than I did. So I went out and I joined band after band, trying to figure out if I had a place in the music industry. I thought I needed permission from a decision maker to start my career. I remember, doing things like going to the taxi conference and trying to meet with people thinking if they just heard my music, they would give me a shot. Maybe you guys have all been there. Have you been there? Let us know in the chat. It's a frustrating place to be because you feel like you have absolutely no control over your career and you're just desperately trying to be seen by somebody that you think is going to give you the edge. So for like 10 years, I was stuck. I was in this quagmire of trying to be in all these bands. All of them failed miserably because I just didn't have the confidence and the knowledge I thought to be able to build my own music career. And I just didn't know what to do. I was grasping at straws constantly, kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? So I hit a point where it's like, I've been doing this a really long time and I'm not making any progress. Should I give up? And so I was faced with the idea of like, either I'm going to give up or I need to do something else because this is not working. So, I felt like back then and even now, the industry tells us that we aren't a legit artist unless we have a label, a manager, or a booking agent. That's why I thought I needed to join bands because I thought it would be more likely that I could get these things. And I didn't think I could attract them on my own. And I thought that I needed them. I had a God-given talent. I felt like I needed to share it with the world. And so finally, I gave up my ideal of what I thought a music career would look like. And I said, if I could do music at all, even though it's not in the way I thought it would be worth it. I would do it. And so I finally stopped trying to get discovered, trying to like fall into what I thought was this music industry mold. And I started doing things differently because I finally realized that in order to be a musician, I also needed to think like an entrepreneur. And what I mean by that is that I needed to think like a business. I can use grassroots marketing just like any new business. And I didn't need permission from anyone to do this. I could start and I didn't need to like get someone to greenlight me. And I didn't need a band because actually a band was holding me back. I felt like I couldn't do anything when I had to have a band. I couldn't book tours. I couldn't live stream because I had to, get them all together in order to do it. I couldn't make decisions without them. I felt like I was paralyzed. And so when I finally realized I don't need a band, and let me tell you, if any of you guys have ever been in that position where you're like, I don't feel like I could be a solo artist because I can't play and sing at the same time. I don't want to use tracks. You feel like you are powerless. I felt that way. I didn't think I could play and sing at the same time, but I put myself in a corner and said, this is the only way this is happening. Can you do it or not? And I focused, I practiced, and I was able to do it within a month or two. I could actually play and sing on my own. It wasn't fancy. I did make some mistakes, but I could do it. And I felt absolutely free because I wasn't depending on a band. And so, with all of this new knowledge and experience, I created the Musician's Profit Path. And I did this over several years. It didn't just come to me one day, right? Over like 10 years of having done this, that's when I came out with the Musician's Profit Path. And that is what I'm going to teach you guys today. And so, what happened for me when I did this, I sold out of my first 1,000 CDs. I booked mini tours all over California, and I took control of my own career. So, I reaped all of the benefits. So, once I had paid off those CDs, all that money was mine. And I didn't have to worry about a band, and I could really take control of everything. And so within a year of doing that, I was singing to 60,000 people at Dodger Stadium. And this wasn't one of those things where, a blind audition or anything. This is something where a super fan of mine got me this gig. So it just shows the power of getting people to listen to your music, nurturing them into fans and making them super fans. They have so much power to help you in your career if you just ask. And so this is one of the results. So I built a fan base and a thriving music career on my own terms and a business that I absolutely loved. So if you're thinking that you can't do this because maybe you have a job, maybe because you don't have a band like this solo singer over here, maybe you have a family. I didn't get to this point where I started having a career until I had kids. It wasn't ideal, but I did it. And maybe you feel like you don't have any knowledge about business. That's okay. This foolproof system that I'm teaching you can work with your busy schedule, and it doesn't require you to have any business experience. I did this when I was still working part-time. I was able to leave the opera and work part-time while I had kids, but I was still working. And I had a 3-year-old when I first started recording and touring and all that stuff. So it can absolutely be done. So before, when I didn't have all of this knowledge and the Musician's Profit Path, I was sitting on the sidelines without, pursuing the dream that I wanted, watching other artists doing it. I was hiding my talent, and because I thought I wasn't good enough or that I didn't know enough to make it happen. I thought I had to have someone to give me permission. So I was waiting around, and I was thinking like an employee. And I thought, oh, well, if I get on a label or a booking agent, they'll tell me what to do. And I wasn't taking control and thinking like a business owner. So afterward, I was able to, like I said, sell out of my first 1,000 albums. I was able to book tours all over California and conference centers and be able to perform at Dodger Stadium. I created a solo show that I absolutely loved, and I didn't have to have a band. I could book it whenever I wanted. Now, I did have a band that I played with locally because I loved playing with them, and they were fantastic. And I was the center of it. Like, it was my band. So I feel like you can have a band, yes, when you are able to like really control that, or feeling like you're able to actually book things. I stopped waiting for permission, and I started thinking like a business owner. So we're going to jump into the 3 mistakes that I was making. And I know a lot of artists that are making these, many of whom are in my academy, that started out making these mistakes. And when I show you the Musician's Profit Path, it's going to help you stop making these mistakes. So are we doing good, Tara? I just want to check in. I know you can see the chat, but they maybe can't see each other. So you probably have to explain that a million times.
Yeah, I'm typing some things in. It's cool though. People are agreeing with you on some of those things about like having been in a band. There's been some people talking about like they totally get what you're talking about, and so
Awesome.
yeah, this is wonderful. So yeah, we see you guys.
Good. Yeah. Just to let you guys know, we can see your chat. You might not be able to see each other though. So it's a Zoom thing. So I was making 3 big mistakes. My first big mistake, and I love that I came up with this term, I was chasing the ghost of the music industry past. And I know, you know, now we realize that indie artists can do so many things on our own, but I still say that there are a lot of people that are still living in this old model, that are thinking that you need a decision maker to give you permission, that you can't do it on your own, or you're scared to do it on your own. And I get that. I was scared to do it on my own. I didn't have the confidence, but the musician's path framework will help you to build that confidence. And I'll show you how in a minute. So if I was definitely chasing the ghost of the music industry past, which meant, we've been taught to think that only industry reps like labels, managers, or booking agents hold the key to unlock our music career. So here's an artist just primed and ready to take off, and they're being held back, just like I was, because they think, well, I don't have a band. I can't do that. I don't have a label. I don't have a manager and I don't have a booking agent. And so they are grounded because they're waiting for those things. But they don't need to be doing that. In the new music industry, your career isn't held hostage. You can start now and you can be your own label, manager, and booking agent and band. So if you don't feel confident enough to do that, I'm going to show you how you can do all of that with the musician's profit path framework. So that is big mistake number one. It's not a complicated mistake to explain, but it's a common one. And it's a mindset thing that's going to keep you from moving forward at all in your business. I'd love to hear in the chat if you have ever thought this way. If you've thought, oh, I need a label, a manager, a booking agent before I can move forward. And I'm going to check in on that in a minute after I go into mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 is thinking that a music career is not a business. Now, I talked about this a little bit in my story. I thought that like someone else's business was what was going to run my music career. That music and business were separate, which is crazy, right? Because I had a double degree in music and business. And I always think like, what the heck was I thinking? Like, why did I not combine those things? But it's just really easy to think, okay, now I'm putting on my music hat. Oh, over here, when I work at the opera, I'm putting on my business hat. And so I am here to tell you that those need to be merged. And if you don't have a business hat yet, we're going to show you how to do that. But I thought that I couldn't do anything. I was grounded like this person because I didn't have a record contract. I didn't have access to venues because I didn't have a booking agent. I didn't have access to radio because I didn't have a label. And I didn't have access to Spotify playlists because I didn't have a label. But none of that is true. We can access all of that as indie artists. So, thinking of your music career as a business empowers your marketing. Even if you don't know anything about business, if you don't have any business experience, that's okay. Just the idea of thinking that you have control and that you are a business owner will empower your marketing. So think about the coffee shop down the street. Say a coffee shop opened up down the street. Now, a lot of people go into business, they don't have a business degree, right? They just love to make coffee. They want to open up a coffee shop. So, when you think about a coffee shop or any small business, a bakery or a restaurant or, an accountant or whatever it is, they're going to employ a lot of these things, right? They're going to need to have some kind of branding. If they're a coffee shop, like think about Starbucks, how easy it is to see that branding when you see it, right? They're going to want to have like an email list so they can send out like special promotions and coupons. They're going to want to use traditional media. They're going to want to get somebody out there to do a story on them and why they're starting a coffee shop and what's special about their coffee shop. They're going to want to use flyers and posters to get the word out about their coffee shop. Maybe they're doing special events at their coffee shop and they want to tell people about it, put it up on bulletin boards. They're going to use social media, absolutely, to in fact, we went to a like a maple syrup farm when we were back east, and called Baird Farms. And they're just a traditional, like, old school family small business, and they have branded stuff. They had branded merch. Well, my kids wanted to buy it. And they have a social media presence, and my kids follow them on social media, and they do contests and all kinds of stuff. They're super smart small business owners. And they're also getting tons of word of mouth, right? Because we loved going there. We got a tour, we got all this awesome maple syrup. And so, you know, these small businesses are using all the same tactics that you are going to want to use as a musician. As I went through these, I'm sure you can see, oh, I use these in my music career, or I should be using these in my music career. So the other thing about the music business, like if you're on a label, is that there is no, what I like to call, stickiness with the music industry model, which means that, like, if a label is in charge of your like social media and your email, then it's very corporatized. Like, you don't get to know the artist. If I'm following artists that are label artists, I don't get to know them at all. Mostly what I see is like promotions for their tours or for their merch. It's not a personal connection. So, fans might add you on Spotify, but they don't really know anything about you. There's no way for people to connect. And label artists have no easy way to engage, as I said, because their stuff is being controlled by the label. But you have direct access as an indie artist. This is a huge boon for indie artists. You can interact directly with your fans and potential fans, and you can nurture them and turn them into fans. They'll get to know you as an artist and as a person, and that's going to create a bond that eventually will make them become super fans. So when I say like 1,000 true fans, that's kind of a way of saying super fans as well. So I'd love to check in with the chat and see, are any of you saying, that you have been stuck in that model of the music industry past, or can you identify with not thinking about yourself as a business? Putting Tara on the spot here.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we have quite a few people talking about, yeah, the business part overwhelms them, stuck in an old model for a long time, living in LA trying to chase for 8 years trying to chase to get
Oh yeah.
noticed.
I was in LA. I mean, I am still in LA, but I was in LA back then too, when I was in that mode of trying to, find people that were going to open a door for me, I thought.
Yeah, and then finally, Nita had said she's starting to think that music is like 10%, and the business, marketing, fan connection is the rest of it.
Kind of. I mean, I don't want to say
Right.
that because that doesn't sound fun. But when we put systems into place, and also eventually we can bring people on to help us, then we can spend more time making the music. And Tara's out there performing all the time, and you can combine it, right? Like she does. She certainly is talking to fans and reaching out to fans at performances and on her live streams. And so it's kind of a combination of marketing and performing, which is really what you should be doing. That's certainly what I did when I was performing all the time. All right, let's
Yes.
get into mistake number 3. Okay, having an overwhelmingly long to-do list. I think you guys are going to identify with this, because I hear this all the time from my academy students, because you heard about marketing tactics from lots of other artists and you thought, I should be doing this. So you put it on your list, and the list gets longer and longer. So here's why this doesn't work for you. What works for other artists won't work for you, because you're in a different stage of your music career than they are. So let me explain why this is true. So if you look at this, so maybe you heard about artists, I don't know, doing TikTok videos, or, there's so many different things we can do as artists, right? Maybe you heard about an artist hiring a PR agent and they got all this great press, right? So those are the artists that are up here. They are up here crossing this bridge, but they are on a different level than you are. And so if you were to do the same thing they were doing, it would not have the effect for you that it does for them, because they had to ascend this staircase first. They had to do a lot of foundational work that I'll show you in the Musician's Profit Path to be able to get up to here where they do these things at this level and they will work for them. You might be down here, or maybe you're on one of these other stair steps here, because there's 5 levels in the Musician's Profit Path. And maybe you're on one of these other levels and you can't access this stuff yet. That's what I mean by staying in your own lane, not feeling like I should be doing everything that these people up here are doing. That's aspirational for you and you'll get there, but you can't do it here because you can't get up to this level yet. And that is totally fine. So another thing that happens with this, so obviously the one thing is that you can't use those tactics because they're not in the same phase of your music career as you are. And number 2 is that a long to-do list without goals and strategy leads to half-done projects and paralysis by overwhelm. So not only will those not work for you, but you can't possibly do all of them successfully. So here's what I mean. You're on this side over here, and you want to cross this river to get over to here to the land of uh, achieving your 90-day goal, right? So say you set your goals, but then you had all these other marketing tactics that came up that you heard about, and you put them on your list, and you're like, I should be doing this, 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 and this. And so instead of building one bridge all the way over to the land of 90-day goal achievement, you are started building all these different ones. And you only have so much time in the day, you only have so much energy, and you can't do all these things and actually make it to the other side. If you were to instead build one bridge or maybe 2, you could get to the other side over here and have actually achieved one or 2 of your 90-day goals, instead of feeling like you're spinning your wheels and you get so far on this and then you're like, squirrel over here, oh, I want to do this bridge over here, and you never actually cross the river. So too many ideas equals hustling until burnout, just like Helen that I showed you in the beginning, or confusion and giving up. So usually what happens, it happens one of 2 things. It's that you are so confused and overwhelmed that you just don't go anywhere. You don't even build any bridges, or you do it the Helen way and you build a bunch of half bridges and you never get there and you get burnt out and you give up and then you just go swimming in the river instead or something. So one step-by-step strategy equals the quickest path to success, checking off milestones along the way. There is a better way to stop hustling and become strategic, so you know exactly what to work on when. And I think you know what I'm going to say, that is the musician's profit path. Having no strategic system is keeping you where you are at right now. So I want you to think into the future, okay? If you keep doing what you're doing now, a year from now, don't you think you'll be just in the same place as you were before? But now let's imagine, instead of continuing to do what you've been doing, that you follow the musician's profit path. And then a year from now, you've got a continuous stream of new fans engaging on social and at your performances, buying your merch, and joining your fan list. Let's imagine that you're building solid relationships with your fans, many of which you could call super fans. And let's imagine that you have a steady stream of emails and voicemails with opportunities coming in every single week, so you never have to make those dreaded cold calls. Now, we all have to make cold calls sometimes, but I just remember when I started having more calls come in than I had to call out, that was an amazing day for me. Whether it's, performing, whether it's doing a live stream for someone, there's so many opportunities that we get as artists. Maybe it's to write a song for somebody and get paid for it. And people just start seeking you out for these things instead of just you doing the outbound. So know this, a marketing tactic is not a magic pill. Instead, following a step-by-step strategy based on the stage of music career growth that you are in is the solution. It is not your fault that the marketing tactics you've been trying haven't worked. In fact, it's just that you've been trying ones that are not in the stage of music career growth that you are in. So, like I said, I see artists either in that paralysis by overwhelm, or they're in the just like haphazard Helen. They are trying everything, throwing things at the wall, hoping it will stick. Or then, if they follow the musician's profit path, they are going to be an empowered musician. So, which one would you like to be? I'm guessing you're going to say, I want that empowered musician position. So, let me show you how we can reach that. Who believes that you can actually attract your 1,000 true fans without wasting valuable time and money on the wrong marketing tactics using the musician's profit path? Let us know in the chat if you believe that we can do that. And I am going to show you the musician's profit path in a sec as soon as I take a sip of water.
I'm seeing some yeses. Yay.
Yay, awesome.
Quite a few.
Okay. I get so excited. Sometimes I go a little crazy with my throat. So I got to use my head voice. Should listen to my voice teacher. I'm very much of a chest voice person when I'm talking, so I have to be careful. All right, so this is the musician's profit path. We have 5 steps in this process to reach the what I call the profession level. So now again, let me explain. You can be in the profession level while still being a hobby artist or a part-time artist. It doesn't mean you're full-time. It means, and I'll show you what it means in a minute, like in a lot of different ways, but it basically means that you've got a system in place, you've got some kind of income coming in, you've got ways to bring fans into your world, you have a kind of a well-oiled machine when it comes to finding new fans, nurturing fans, and making some money so you can keep making music. So this doesn't mean you have to be full-time in music. A lot of people I work with, like I said, they're retired, they're taking care of kids, they're a mom, they still work part-time. They are a weekend warrior. You know, there's all kinds of musicians out there. So in each of the 5 stages, there are 5 pillars. They are planning, platforms, performing, profit, and power-ups, which I'll explain. So I love my P's. Somehow I'm always with the P's. So let's talk about planning. So I'm going to show you how this planning is going to work no matter what stage you're in, and you're going to apply it to your stage. So goals plus steps equals momentum. So when you know the right things to focus on and break them down into steps, your progress is inevitable because you are staying in your lane. So knowing your career stage will inform your 90-day goals. So all you need to do is know exactly what stage you're in, and then that will show you what you should be focusing on so you're not focusing on the wrong things. If you've ever been in my Get More Done in Less Time program, we talk about this. We help you find your 5 goals for 90 days and how to break them down into steps. And then each goal is broken down, like I said, into steps that you're able to follow so you feel like you make progress every day. And then you use your calendar blocks and productivity apps like Asana, whatever works for you, to make sure that you actually do the things that are on your list instead of just every day looking at an overwhelmingly large to-do list and feeling like a deer in the headlights and giving up. So that system will help you make sure not only that you're following the right goals, but you're actually achieving them and you're not just building half bridges. So why haven't you been able to get momentum? It's because you didn't have 90-day goals based on your stage of music career growth, and you didn't have a system to make sure that you achieved them. So that is the planning pillar. So I want to introduce you to Diana. Diana is an academy member, and she also runs a songwriting school. So she's doing her music stuff kind of on the side. It's kind of integrated, but like she only had so many hours per week to work on her music. And so being able to have these 90-day goals really made it possible for her to make progress, even though she's running an entire business. And then meet Allison. Allison, within just a few days of working in this system, she was able to really get some goals and get started. And she said that she's put in more serious effort and gotten more done than she ever has in years because of this musician's profit path system. So the next pillar is platforms. So I'd say this is the probably the most complicated pillar, because first we're going to talk about website and social media. So we've got this broken down into the 5 stages of music career growth and what the platforms are and how you need to work on them in each stage. So during the first stage, you want to get your website set up and you want to have your social platforms chosen. I would choose one social platform to focus on, and then also get your YouTube channel set up. You're also going to then figure out, like, what is your branding? Because, how are you going to present yourself as an artist? What is the message that you have? And you want to set up a simple EPK, electronic press kit, in case you don't know what that is. So people know, more about you, are able to hear your music, are able to get, see some quotes of people that have seen you perform and all that kind of stuff. In the next level, stage 2, then you would be focusing on engagement. You've set up this foundation. Now you're going to be posting on social media and engaging with people and starting to do some live streams to also get that engagement, get experience, performing and getting some feedback. And then in your third stage, you would probably add a blog to just add some more depth and be able to talk more about some personal stuff on your website and in your emails. And then I would recommend doing a weekly live stream, setting some kind of schedule for that, because you want to make sure that you stay consistent and get your audience to expect consistency and show up. And then in the fourth stage, we have the ability to delegate some stuff out, creating some systems, getting some help, maybe adding some Facebook ads into your system. And then you're still doing all these things. That's what's great about the pyramid. Like, you're building, right? You built the basics here, but you're still doing all of this stuff along the way. So if you're wondering why your investment in PR and radio and ads didn't work, it's because you haven't built your foundation, and consistency first. So, these tactics they're totally powerful and they totally work, but they can't work for you if you don't have that foundation, because you didn't build platforms to capitalize on the strategies. This is why I see people all the time. They come out with their first single or their first album and they spend tons of money on PR or tons of money on radio, and it doesn't work for them and it's just sad. They waste like $5,000. And if they would have just asked me, I would have told them, you need to wait till you build your fan base up more before you do that. But make sure you have a website, make sure you have a way to catch these people, an email list. So let's talk about email. So that's the other platform that I talk about. And to me, email is the best platform for what I call fan stickiness, as I mentioned that earlier. Stickiness is how you can stay in contact with fans. If you're performing out or you're performing on a live stream and people come and they love your music and they respond to you, but they have no way to connect with you any further, there's no stickiness and they're going to forget about you. Just like Helen in the beginning, she got fans, but she forgot to have a way for them to be sticky. And so she couldn't continue to nurture them. And that's what an email list is great for. So statistically, about 1/3 of your list will become super fans. So if you get 3,000 people on your list, 1/3 of that is 1,000 true fans. So that is our goal here. That's what the Musician's Profit Path primes you to do, is to get those 3,000 people on your list so you have those 1,000 true fans. Because, people are going to be different levels of interest in your music. So here's the path to get there. And in the Musician's Profit Path, I teach in the first stage, it is just the first 100 subscribers. And it's way easier than you might think. You probably have 100 people that you can get on there right now that you just haven't thought about, and you haven't put in a system into place to get them on there. Then in the next stage, we build it up to 500. The next stage, we build it up to 1,250. And then stage 4, at the end of that, we are built up to 3,000. So when we're up here, we have our 1,000 true fans at the top of this staircase here. And you just keep nurturing them. Obviously, you want to keep building and all that stuff, but that is the basis for your 1,000 true fans. I did promise you to show you how you would reach that. So an engaged list equals income. So on average, musicians can make $1 per month for every email subscriber. I actually did an audit of my list when I was a performing and touring musician, and this absolutely bore to be true. So there's so many ways we can make income from people. I mean, I got like voice students. I got gigs because of people on my email list. I got, I was able to write songs for a fee. I got recording opportunities, like so many things, because I was connected with people on my list and I was top of mind. And so I would break it down and I'm like, okay, I have this many people and I made this much income. It does break down to at least $1 a person. It's crazy, right? It is a proven statistic. So, and it still bears true today in my business, like at least $1, a person. So don't think that this is just a pie in the sky statistic. It's absolutely true. And of course, there's people that give you $100, $200, $300, and there's people that give you $0. So it all balances out and it's an average. So here's what we do with them as we are building the list and throughout the stages. The first stage, we only have 100 people. So we're sending one email a month. Now, most artists just stick to that. They just send one email a month. But in my opinion, that is not enough to keep you top of mind. And I'm guessing if you're moving up this staircase here, you've got stuff going on and you want to tell people about it. So by stage 2, you're doing 2 emails a month and you have a welcome email for when people join. In stage 3, you're doing 1 email a week and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so much. How can I handle that? These are not like newsletters. These are like one call to action. Hey, I've got a show this weekend, come out, or come watch my live stream. It's at 4:00. Or, I just wrote a blog about being in the studio and I've got some, behind the scenes photos. Want to check it out? Those are the kinds of things. One call to action emails, not some complicated long newsletter that seems like totally daunting to create. I'm done with those newsletters. So stage 4 is engagement and sales automation. So then you can build in some automated sequences that happen when someone gets on your list. You can introduce them to things. If a lot of you are on my list, that I have stuff like that where it's like, oh, hey, did you know I had a podcast? Here's one of the most popular episodes. In fact, one of the ones I have in there is a podcast episode that I did with Tara. Like, I still talk about that episode because it's so inspirational. And I tell new people on my list about that. So if you put some things that are like some of the best things that have happened in your career in there and create an automation for it, then everybody on your list can find out about it and you don't have to be telling them individually. And then at the top, you're just going to keep doing all of this. And you've got your 1,000 true fans. You're going to keep nurturing and building that asset of your email list. So why have your if you've done crowdfunding campaigns before, you tried to do like a Patreon or something, why were they not successful? It's because you didn't have the right knowledge and tools to grow and nurture your email list. That the money is in the list. If you've heard that, that is where we really get nurturing our fans. So I want to introduce you to Margie. Margie had been a touring musician for like 40 years, but she didn't have an online presence. And once she started using the Musician's Profit Path, she was able to get 2 websites, one for each of her projects, up and running in just a few weeks. And they were getting some great engagement. And then this is Mishi. I love this story. She said using Bree's thorough and clear training, she was able to go from 8 email subscribers to 61 subscribers in just 3 days. So she started out in that stage 1 and she wanted to get to her 100, and she used my training in order to do that. And she did this in just 3 days. So it is absolutely possible. So I'm going to take another sip. I just love to a sip of water. It makes it sound like I've got an alcoholic drink here. Sip of water. I'd love to hear, Tara, if there's any people commenting in the chat about any that we've talked about. I know that the platforms area is a big one, and it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, what we do have is some questions, and I know you'll get to that a little bit later, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So just hold tight. We know they're in
Awesome.
there. I see them. We'll get
We
to
are
your questions.
getting to the home stretch because we've got 3 platforms to go, and they're not as complicated. I mean, 3 pillars to go, and they're not as complicated as the platforms. That's the biggest one. Okay, performing. Yay. Now, keep in mind, performing means performances in person or performances on live stream. Live stream has become huge. And so I want you to think about this in relation to any kind of performing that you might do, not just gigs per se. Although nowadays live streaming, there are live streaming gigs. So it's all kind of one thing now. So in the 5 stages, performing is like an upside down pyramid here, because we start out, we are green, right? We don't have a lot of experience with performing maybe. And so we want to start out doing things like open mics and coffee shops. Now, keep in mind, there are actually a lot of open mic live streams nowadays that I've seen. Like especially on one of the newer platforms, Clubhouse, there are like open mics all the time on there. So don't think that open mics just have to be in person. So when you're first starting out, you're just doing open mics and coffee shops because you really can't, you don't have the chops, you don't have the track record to be asking to be paid yet. And this is where you can really hone your skills as a performer. Then at the next level, you're going to move up to small venues, house concerts, maybe some joint live streams with other people, just a little bit higher level. Maybe you do like a private concert or party instead of a house concert. Maybe it's a private live stream or something. I know people are doing those all the time nowadays. And then at the third level, you're moving up to like larger venues. Maybe you're doing some mini tours of some kind. And then at the next level, you might be doing full tours, festivals, that kind of thing. And then when you get to the top, like you have a full schedule, whatever your schedule is that you want to have. If you work, maybe your schedule is just on weekends. So when I say full schedule, it's you've got all the bookings that you want, and they're all the kinds of, getting paid for them and everything. So I just want to remind you that talent does not equal entertainment. So this is something that took me a little bit to get when I first started performing, and it actually really helped me when I was with that touring group with my college understand this, that a show is much more than just playing songs. You need stage presence, you need banter, you need stories, you need engagement, and more to be a gig-worthy entertainer, even as a live streamer. We can't just be like, okay, I'm practicing in my bedroom. Here we go. You're not going to have anyone want to watch you. So, and they're certainly not going to want to give you a tip. So you need to really hone these skills. And I certainly did when I was performing with my college, because we performed in front of people all the time. And I had to get used to like how to respond to the audience when they do weird stuff, and how to, really engage them with stories, and how to have like a certain kind of stage persona. So entertainment equals income. People aren't just going to hire you for being a singer-songwriter. They're going to hire you for having a dialed in stage show or a dialed in live stream. I've had some students do like full costume live streams. Maybe they're doing like a historical show or something like that. Now that's entertainment. You're not just doing songs, you're putting on an actual program. And so, if you want to pursue higher venues, you need to have that dialed in. So here's what you're going to, like, the skills you're going to cultivate in yourself as a performer as you move up. When you first start out, you're just getting to know, like, what is your stage presence? What is your on-stage personality? What kind of banter do you do? And that means experimenting. I mean, I've certainly said plenty of dumb things on stage that I couldn't take back, right? But you have to be able to like live in the moment and learn what works for you and what doesn't. And that's why doing that at smaller venues is a good thing when you're first starting out. Then you're going to add some storytelling and engagement with the audience. And then you're going to, really get into the booking on your side. Maybe get somebody to even help you do some of your booking, do some great networking. Maybe you do some live streams with other artists to get exposed to new audiences. And then eventually you bring on some people to help you. And you're expanding your EPK to show that you are a very versatile artist. So that's kind of how you expand your skills as you move up the musician's profit path. So why are you not getting paid enough for your performances or what you think you're worth? It's because you've been booking yourself as a singer-songwriter and not as an entertainer. You need to think of yourself as a performer with a product. I call it a program, whether it's, just like telling stories along with your music, which is certainly what I did. I packaged that as a program. And people are so much more likely to go for that if you can tell them exactly what they're going to get out of it than just saying, hey, I'm a singer songwriter. Do you want someone to come and entertain you? So this is Margie again. And she said that she just finished her first show of her mini tour and she was over the moon delighted with the way it went. This kind of engagement and connection is what she lives for. And the donations were equal to their engagement and their appreciation. So she really learned how to create an engaged show and she was absolutely loving it. And this is Lisa. Lisa said, I got called for a major performance for Australia Day because of all the work that she's been doing to be visible and to build relationship. It feels so good to be asked. That's that she got a call in instead of always having to be the one to ask. I feel like a legit performing artist, which she is, and I am really doing it. So that is the performing part, the performing pillar of the musician's profit path. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, profit. This is what my business is named after, the profitable musician. Income is a byproduct of building a fan base. So that's why we talk about on this workshop, building our 1,000 true fans. Why are we not saying building our, $5,000 a month music business? It's because the income is a byproduct of the fans. You need to build your fan base and that will generate income. So the result of following the musician's profit path is what I like to call the graduated profit system and it just happens to spell out GPS, which I thought was cute. So what that is again, like it's a buildup, right? It's the upside down pyramid. So when you are starting out, you cannot garner any money. Maybe some tips, right? Because you don't have a proven skill. You haven't made money before. You can't show them that it's worth it yet. But as you build up your skills and you are paying your dues, then when you get to the next level, maybe you're doing house concerts and you're getting donations. Maybe you're doing private live streams and getting donations or charging a small ticket price. You're doing small venues and getting a percentage of the door. You're then at the next level, you're getting more fees and per diems because you're doing bigger venues or events or bigger live streams. you're doing album sales and getting some streaming income because you've got fans to support you when you release music. And at the next level, you can do crowdfunding and Patreon because remember, by level 4, you've built your email list to over 1,250 people. And that can support actually doing a crowdfunding or a Patreon. And then at the when you not the end, there's no end to this, right? This keeps going up. But when you get to that top level, then you're able to add some other streams of income. Maybe you are, doing more like licensing, or you're doing some like private creating songs for people and getting paid for it. Maybe you're doing corporate gigs. Like there's so many things that you can do when you get to that level. So if you're wondering why you are not making consistent money from your music, it's because you are doing things in the wrong order. You're not following the graduated profit system. You're pursuing income opportunities that are for a stage above you. So all you need to do is do what you need to do, as I showed you in those other sections, to be at that stage where you can command that kind of income that you want, and you'll get it. So this is Carlene. She was a hobby artist. I used to be a hobby performer, but thanks to Bree, I'm now making consistent income from music. And then someone like Carol, she's been doing this for a really long time with her husband. They have many albums, they've performed a lot, but because they've ascended this musician's profit path, they've been able to add a lot of different cool kinds of gigs, library gigs and private parties, house concerts, and getting some streaming sales because they are ascending the musician's profit path. Now, finally, and not least, for sure, is the power ups. This is all about mindset and emotion. And I can tell you right now that this tends to be an afterthought because people are all about tactics and stuff. But this is really something that can make or break your career. I have seen people be stuck for years because of mindset issues. Mindset and emotions are the fuel that can either propel your career forward or can cause it to stall. And I have seen it more times than I want to count. So this is kind of how you go through. Here's the 5 stages of the music career growth. And this is what happens in your mindset during these stages, things that you need to look out for and try to combat. And we definitely help you with this in the musician's profit path. So when you're first starting out, you definitely have a lack of confidence. That's why we're doing things like trying live streaming or doing some open mics to get some more confidence. You feel also very isolated. A lot of times people are like, no one in my family believes I can do this. People think I'm crazy. I don't have a following. So what makes me think that I can do this? And so having a group of people that is doing what you're doing is so key during this stage. Don't wait to get that community because otherwise you won't get past these mindset blocks. The second stage is we get into that comparison mode, right? We start putting ourselves out there. We start having this spotlight fear of like, oh my gosh, I'm putting myself out there. People, I could get a hater. Someone might like make fun of my, my hair or, whatever. I've definitely had all those things happen to me, right? Because you put yourself out there enough, someone's going to have some weird comment about you. And it's scary and it's uncomfortable. But if you don't do it, you won't ever ascend to this top stage here. And you're comparing yourself to other artists. That's how we get into this like, oh my gosh, I should be doing all those marketing tactics that they are, because you see people being successful and you're like, I'm not successful like that. Well, how can I be successful like that? I'm going to do what they're doing. Nope, won't work for you because they're up here and you're down here. Third stage, I'm not going to lie, is the hardest. If you notice these pyramids, right? Some are going up and the other ones are going down. But if you notice in the middle stage, it's all the same width. It's because that is the most full stage. It's the stage you'll probably stay in longest. It is the most growth stage because that's why I call it expansion. And it's really easy to get burnt out in this stage. And have this fear of success, like I can't handle everything that's coming my way. It's like too much. I'm trying to record an album. I'm still trying to book myself. I'm trying to, do all these things and I need help. And that's why I recommend bringing somebody in to help you during the stage, whether it's just a low cost VA. I certainly had college students helping me, where I'd pay them minimum wage. Had them helping me do some admin stuff. I had my mom helping me with stuff. Now I have my daughter helping me with stuff. You got to have people that help you because you can't multiply yourself. And then in stage 4, that's when you're bringing people onto your team, and you might be bringing some additional people, like maybe a PR agent or a booking agent or something, because you're getting to the point where you're big enough where you can do those things. But then you start to feel that lack of control and that lack of trust. And so it's just something that you have to go through as part of the stages. And you're afraid that like it's all going to fall apart in a minute. The more success you have, the more scary it is. It's hard to believe. I know if you're sitting at the bottom of this going, I just wish I had one of these, but you'll definitely get there and go through that. And so I just want to make people aware of it. So why are you not making progress even though you have all the right tools and tactics? And I hear this all the time. I know what to do. Why am I not doing it? It's because you have limiting beliefs and negative emotions that are keeping you from moving forward. And I have seen it so many times. People that have such great talent, that all these beliefs and fears are keeping them stuck. So I want to introduce you to Jessie. Jessie said with the help of Bree and her accountability partners that she had in the academy, her confidence to book, she got so much more confidence to book more shows and follow her passion. And they had just, when she wrote this to me, secured a grant to create their signature concert, which I'm so excited for them. And here's Allison again. Allison said her motivation shot up to a level that she had not seen in years because she felt less alone and more understood, which has boosted her confidence to develop her full potential. That is what being in a community is all about, being with a mentor who's been through it. I have been through it. I have seen my students through all of this. So we've got you. So if you take anything away from this workshop today, I want you to know that you can attract your 1,000 true fans without wasting valuable time and money on the wrong marketing tactics. The big question is, how can you apply the Musician's Profit Path framework so you can grow your income with the graduated profit system while eliminating hustle and overwhelm? So are you going to be Helen, who I call, the hustler who gets burnt out, haphazard Helen, trying all the things, throwing the spaghetti at the wall? Or are you going to be Christy, who knows how to set her 90-day goals and knows how to break them down into steps and stays in her own lane so she can actually move up the musician's profit path? It is time for you to stop hoping for momentum and start creating it using the musician's profit path. It's time to follow a blueprint that takes the guesswork out of building your fan base. So if you are ready to follow that blueprint, I want to let you know that the Female Musician Academy is open for enrollment. So let me just give you a quick overview of what's inside the Academy. As it says at the bottom on this other page, this is just for women. And I've created this amazing space for women to be able to learn together, to be able to support each other. And it's a safe space. And I love men dearly. Obviously, I'm married to one. But I wanted to create something that was specifically for women to support them in a special way. So if you're a male, so sorry this isn't for you, but you're absolutely welcome to stay until the end. In about 5 minutes, we're going to do Q&A. But I want to let those women out there who are ready to join the Academy know what is inside, because I would absolutely love to work with you. So obviously, we've got the Musician's Profit Path. That's what we've been talking about this whole time. And we cover all 5 stages of the musician's profit path. We give you everything that you need to know to be able to do all 5 of those pillars that we talked about, with planning, with platforms, with performing, with profit and power ups, all inside of the 5 stages. We also have my newest course, the Rock Your Next Release course, that helps you release your album successfully. So many artists are not able to release their album because they're so overwhelmed by the process, or they release their album and then they have all these regrets around it, that they could have gotten so much exposure, so many more fans, all that. And so I didn't like seeing artists in that space. So I created this Rock Your Next Release program. It sells every day for $497, but you can buy it. I mean, you can get it for free inside of the Female Musician Academy. And then besides the Musician's Profit Path, we have all these other mini courses that are inside of there that help you. So we've got a specific course on goal setting and productivity, and that helps you do all of that around your planning. We've got our profitable live streaming course that Tara actually created. I haven't mentioned, but Tara is a coach inside of the Academy, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But she created a profitable live streaming course to help musicians know how to look good, how to sound good, how to run everything, how to engage with audiences and stuff, so you can actually do live streaming in a way that brings in money. We have the Pump Up Your PR course, house concerts course, Facebook ads course, like so many things to support you along your musician's profit path. And we also have, Academy's been around since June 2015. So we have 40 plus expert workshops that we've done with people on very specific topics. So here's just a list of, I'm sure, some people's names that you'll recognize and some topics that we cover. And it's just an amazing, amazing bank of resources here for you that we build into the musician's profit path as well, so you know exactly when to utilize these resources. And then we have our weekly calls. So every week we jump on Zoom. Our first call is our monthly general Q&A, and everybody loves the first Friday call. It's super fun. Our second call is the second Tuesday of the month. It is called Tech Talk Tuesday because I have seen so many artists getting stuck on the tech, not knowing how to do things in social media platforms, and they're changing all the time, right? How to do things on their website, how to do things in their email. And I don't want you guys to be stuck on the tech. So that's why we came up with this call. And it is a very popular call. We actually get in and screen share and all that stuff to help you figure out how to do stuff. Our third call is the Rock Your Next Release call. It's the third Wednesday of the month, and we talk all about releasing music, and physical and digital. And then our fourth call of the month is our booking focus call with Tara. So Tara, she has a whole program called Book Like a Boss, and I have her in our community because she is booking like all the time. She is a working artist. So I wanted to make sure that you guys had all the up-to-date tactics on booking, on live streaming. She also does paid live streams and things like that. And so you have access to Tara inside the Academy as well. We also have this other really cool bonus that people are absolutely loving. It's been around for about 2 years. It's the FMA Songwriters Group. And it is totally free with your Academy membership. And they have a writing accountability group. They have weekly prompts to help you write. And we've been having a quarterly, like a writer's round, kind of, where we're performing for each other, which is totally awesome. And it is absolutely included in the Academy, which is exciting. And then we have our Facebook group. It's, to me, like the most supportive sisterhood of women that I've ever seen in a Facebook group. And I can't even put a price on that. So, this is everything that's included in the Academy. And we've got a really cool bonus here that I am offering during this workshop, and anyone that joins during this workshop and in the next 5 days. And that is a personalized one-on-one call with our community manager and goal setting coach, Beth Matthew. If any of you guys are in our free group, you know Beth. If you've heard our podcast, you know Beth. You know that she is really good at breaking things down and just really being an empathetic ear and helping artists to really get a clear sense of what they should be doing based upon the musician's profit path. So this is just one of our testimonials from Terry. We have tons of them that look similar to this, of people that have done a one-on-one call with Beth. And I am giving that to you absolutely free for joining during this promotion. It is an invaluable way to get you started on the musician's profit path in a very personalized way. So here's everything that we have. We have the musician's profit path training for all 5 stages. We have the Rock Your Next Release program, which we are literally selling every day for that price. So it's amazing that this is included. We have a bunch of different deep dive courses, including our goal setting course and our Pump Up Your PR and profitable live streaming, so many courses, 40 plus expert workshops, our weekly calls, which will make sure that you never stay stuck. You can always come and ask a question, and there's no dumb questions in the Academy. We have our bonus FMA songwriters group, and then the bonus call with Beth that is a personal one-on-one Zoom meeting with her. And that is that's a $79 value if you were to pay for it directly. And then our Facebook group, which is absolutely priceless. So that's a total value of $5,955, which is, I mean, truthfully, the Academy's been around for almost 6 years. So, sometimes you see on webinars that this number is inflated, but this is not an inflated number because we have so many resources in here and so much talent and coaches on our team and all that stuff. So you can get started in the Academy for just $59 per month. So your first payment would only be $59 to get started. So the Academy is a year-long program because we want to make sure that we can really help you ascend on the musician's profit path. I don't want people that are just dabbling. I want you to have success in mind. And so we have offered this price of $59 because I want to make sure it's affordable for people to get in and get started, but it is a year-long program. So that is a 12-pay plan. So you can get in today for $59 and you get all this bonuses and all these things. Now, if you want to save 2 months, you can pay for a year all at once for $590 and you save 2 months on your price, as well as I'm offering right now a special bonus for people that buy the year. You can get a free Diva ads package on Women of Substance radio podcast. So if you know about Women of Substance, you know that we are a very popular podcast that promotes music by female artists. And we would love to promote you on there. You can get a package that is like a 5-show promotional 1-minute spot and a banner on our website. It's a $99 value, and we are giving that to anyone that pays for the entire year at one time. And plus you get to save 2 months. So that's like an amazing deal. We also have our lifetime option. I have had people buy this outright. And you can upgrade to this later if you want to, if you're like, I'm going to buy the year for now. And then if you decide you want to upgrade to lifetime, we can have a conversation about that. But I have had people buy it outright because they're just like, I want all of this and I never want to pay again. So that is that option. So the question isn't, will you save time and money, but it's how much will you save? So I want to remind you, time is valuable. And as I get older, time is so much more valuable now as I'm nearing the age of 50. Time just seems so valuable to me. So these are all the ways that you can save time. You can save time by not being overwhelmed, by not having, information overload, having to do a lot of research, figuring things out on your own. You can save money because You are not wasting money on the wrong things, as we talked about, because these are things that are not in your stage of career growth. And you can also, you could make back your Academy membership just by getting one new gig or one new paid live streaming opportunity every 3 months. And then finally, the opportunity. I mean, if you've been sitting on the sidelines like I was for so long, wanting to pursue a music career or wanting to just get your music out there and get people to hear it, and you haven't been, that is there's such an opportunity cost related to that. So I always want to remind you of that as well. I mean, that's just like time, right? Time keeps ticking. And then we do have a special bonus for those who are here live right now and want to get this 5 days to your first or next 1,000 super fans. So if you're like already like, I am in, I want into the Academy, and you know it right now, then you can also get this special bonus by joining once we start our little 15-minute timer, once we're doing our Q&A in a minute. So just wanted to remind you, Allison said within days of joining the Academy, she had a plan and she got started and she had more motivation than ever before. And Margie was able to build 2 websites and create some amazing momentum in her performances. And Mishi was able to get her email list from 8 people to 61 people in just 3 days. Carlene was able to start making consistent income from her music, even though she was just a hobby artist when I met her. So, reminder, it's $59 or $590 for the annual. You get the Divas ad package if you choose to go annual, plus you get 2 months off. The link is musiciansprofitpath.com/buy. That's a super easy link. I tried to make it really easy for you. I think Tara can probably type that into the chat for you guys. And I am going to start our timer. So for those of you that want your 5 days to your first or next 100 super fans, that is a special training that's a $97 value, and you get it free for joining us during this next 15 minutes. So if you're watching this later, you can absolutely still join and get all the other bonuses, including the one-on-one with Beth. But if you are already I am in, and you want to get this extra bonus, this is the time. So I'm going to start this little timer. If I can press play, there we go. And we can jump into Q&A.
And we've got quite a few questions. If you want to, I don't know if you want to pull them up or you want me to tell you what's best for you.
Because I want to keep the timer on the screen.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. So we start with.
And I'm going to take a sip of water because wow, I was talking a lot.
Yeah, and I just want to say something with for all of you who are thinking about the Academy. There is so much that is packed into. I've had the privilege of being with Bree as one of the coaches in there, and to see people come in and just the changes that are made, some very quickly, and just the support that people have towards each other. If you're on the fence, it's like, don't be on the fence. this is an investment in your own career.
We need the support. That's why I talked about the power-ups, because when I first started my career, I had nobody that I knew in my life. I had moved to a new place and I didn't know anybody that was doing this music thing. And I felt lost, right? And when I found a group of women that I invested to join, and they were just a little bit ahead of me, I learned so much, and I was able to accelerate what I was doing because I could get all my questions answered and I could just emulate what they were doing. So the reason I created the Academy is because I have been where you are. And I know that without that group of women, I would not have had the career that I did. So that's my soapbox moment for that.
I'm going to put this one out here first to you, Bree.
Okay.
Let's see. Wait, no, I lost it. It had to do with COVID. And why? Here it is. Sarah was asking, how does any of this work in a COVID-19 environment and Brexit, she says, but just, yeah.
So, yeah, I get that. And I didn't want to base this entirely on our world situation, right? Because things are changing.
Yes.
They're in different, I have Australian students that in their part of their country, they've barely been affected and they've been able to perform consistently. Like Lisa, she did that whole Australia Day thing, and it was a big group and all that. Or she's been able to do like reduced capacity concerts. So I don't want to base this on what's happening this very moment, because things are opening up. And I know Tara has still been doing gigs,
I have,
and
and
she's
still
still
been
booking
booking.
them. Yeah.
Yep.
And she's in Minnesota. So
Yeah.
yes, I'm in LA County, which is like the worst place you could ever be for performing, because everything is still so shut down. But there are a lot of places that aren't. And I know the UK is going through that right now, but we're getting on the other side of this. So I didn't want to
Okay.
like make everything based around our current situation, because I feel like we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Um, just looking here at
And
the
the thing
top.
is, you can go into the academy and get all your foundational stuff built up, and in a few months, the performing landscape may look totally different, and you'll have all of that foundation built.
Yes, for sure. So Millie, sorry, I wanted to get to this one because Millie, this is probably something a lot of people talk about. But she says my mindset problem is that I believe young artists are valued more by the press. It
Mm.
feels like whenever I turn the radio on and being introduced to an amazing young talent, as though being young and talented has more value than being old and talented. I feel that there's an apparent ageism, and I let it hold me back. My question is this ageism something I should just ignore?
So, you could go two different ways with this. I feel like we are in the era of activism, and we are in the era of calling people out when they are discriminating. And so I feel like, we've done this with BLM, we've done this with Me Too. Like it's time to like start a movement against ageism, because I have always been huge on this. And, our academy actually, it attracts people of all ages, but we have people as old as like 75 in the academy, who are doing amazing things. So you could either kind of just ignore it and like stand in your power as an artist who's experienced, and talk about things that way, like I couldn't have written the songs that I wrote unless I had all the this life experience, or I've been honing my craft for this many years and that's why I'm good. um or you could make that part of your message. You could, like, I have some students that are like, my target audience is baby boomers, and I'm talking to them about how you know we can just continue to do what we're doing, and be valuable. Like, we did all this activism when we were younger. It doesn't mean that that's over for us now. Like, we are just as valuable now. So I think you could go two different ways with that, but I definitely wouldn't let that hold you back. I think that even in the last 6 years that the academy has been around, I have seen a huge shift in. I'm not hearing people say to me that they've gotten advice that once they're 30, it's over and stuff like that anymore, which is what I used to hear. Now I think people appreciate artists at every age and every stage of life.
Yeah, I want to just reiterate that, Bree, because I'm 51,
Right.
and I'm not slowing down. So, um, should I give you another question?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so Victoria says, "Hi Bree, love this. Can this apply to cover artists? I am or was a full-time piano vocalist. I used to gig 6 nights a week before COVID lockdown, and I now look after my mom after my dad died. Would like to stay home more to take care of her. She has a Facebook following of 3,000, Instagram 2,000. She live streams. I think the question is, yeah, can this apply to a cover artist?
Absolutely, it can. This can apply to an instrument. We have several instrumental artists in the academy. It can apply to a cover artist. You don't have to be, an original singer songwriter. In fact, Tara does a lot of covers, and she
I
does
do.
write some songs. But the kind of performances that she does a lot of covers.
I do mostly covers actually. So
There you go. There you go. By the way, I just want to mention I'm super excited to see that some people are joining the academy. We've got Nita, I'm so
yay!
excited. Millie. Oh, yes, we're gonna bust that ageism thing wide open, Millie. Jessica, so happy to see all of you guys in the academy. And let us know in the chat if you're joining. I cannot wait to work with you guys.
Um, this is so awesome. Bree, Millie, I think Millie, maybe she's the one that just joined, but she did have a question. I thought somebody else might wonder about this too. She
Yeah.
says, if I have only released music via collaborations or being in a band, do I need to have release ready solo material before I start working on building my fan base?
So I guess when you say collaboration, like are you the artist on it? Because I do think that you need to build your following as your own thing if that's what you're going to be doing. Now, if your name is on it, then you can absolutely use that. And there's no reason you can't use that in some way, especially if you have permission from the other people that are involved. Because I definitely have stuff on my Spotify that is like, me with someone else. And that's okay. But you're going to want to be building your portfolio as your own artist. But you can use all of that for sure. Absolutely.
Cool. A question from Jessica. She says, thanks so much for putting on this webinar. You mentioned that an important part of the process is performing and getting gigs. I'm trying to cultivate a songwriting career and am less interested in performing. Is it feasible to try to create a profitable path in this way?
Oh boy. Okay. It's hard. It's much harder. I do know people that are doing this, and a lot of them, like, I don't know if she sings her own stuff or not. Like, I know some people that literally they don't sing their own stuff. They have like an artist that sings most of their stuff. You can, especially if you are working with artists who are up and coming that are hungry, that are going to help you promote as well. Because as a songwriter, you make more of the money than the artist does, truthfully, because that's where you make the royalties and stuff as a songwriter. So it's harder to build. You can build a career for sure, but you're not really building it around yourself. If you're only a songwriter, you're probably going to be more doing it in conjunction with other artists. Now, saying that, nowadays we have all kinds of producers who have built their career, right? Marshmello or whatever. Those producers, it's always like, or Calvin Harris featuring this singer, right? So I don't see why you can't do that as a songwriter, personally. And I know some songwriters that do that. So if you want to build yourself as an artist and do that, featuring this person, we actually talked about this last night on our Rock Your Next Release call. Someone was asking that question about how you can bill it. Can you bill yourself as an artist? And I see no reason you can't bill yourself as the artist because you wrote it and then say featuring whoever the singer is. So if you want to build a brand around yourself, then I suggest doing it that way. And I think producers are a great model for that.
Okay, cool. Let's see. There was some question about, is there a refund policy? Someone was asking about that.
Is there a refund policy? Good question.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do want people that are willing to make a year commitment. If for some reason within the first month it is just not right for you, then just reach out to us and we'll have a conversation. We have occasionally had a person who's just like, you know what, this is just not, for whatever reason, not the right program for me. And, we agreed and it was fine. And you won't, you'll still be charged your first $59 for the first month. So there's no like refund. But if you absolutely need to get out, and you can tell us within the first 30 days, then we will definitely have a conversation about it.
Cool. Okay, another question from Kristen. She says she's performed quite a bit, but have never recorded her own project. Can she start the program without having her own music to market? And is it appropriate for her? So she's performed, but never had her actual sounds like a recording. But she's saying, hey, can I still?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. You don't. In fact, I don't encourage people to have a recording until you've built up some of a fan base. I think my video disappeared. There we go. Because you invest a lot of money and time into a recording, and you want to have a group of people that is like eager and waiting for that recording. Right. And so if you build up your fan base using the musician's profit path, you are building up based upon, using platforms and using performing to get your fan base to the point to where they're hungry and they're like, hey, when are you going to record something so I can listen to it, and, have it, listen to it whenever I want. So yes, you're in the perfect position to do this.
Okay. Let's see.
And a
Someone.
reminder that if you want to get that,
Ooh.
the 5 days to your first or next 100 super fans, that you've got a few more minutes. If you have any issues with logging in, so we use Teachable to house the academy. And if you bought any of my other courses, you probably already have a password. So if you don't know what that is, you're going to have to just reset it, because we can't access your password due to privacy issues. So if you have any issues like that, just let us know. If you were trying to get in and you didn't get in the first 15 minutes, we are very nice people. We'll understand. So just reach out to me at Bree@femmusician.com and let us know that, like, I tried to get in, but I couldn't. Or, if you bought and you were like 30 minutes late, we'll make sure you get the bonus.
Cool. Clef says, I am due to go into a studio to produce an album. I want to do crowdfunding to help with the cost of the production and enable fans to be a part of it. I've discovered I have fans for Music X-Ray. How do I let them know about this project? They have only heard the rough recordings. Is it best to wait till this is ready before I join your program?
No, definitely don't wait till anything is ready, because I think you will learn things in here to do things along the way much better, much more efficiently, and you might even change the way that you're doing things. As far as Music X-Ray, you have to find a way to get them into your ecosystem. So you either need to try to get them on your email list or on one of your social medias, so they're following you. And then they can like interact with your live streams and interact with your posts and things like that. Email is the best. So I always find that on platforms like that, if you reach out to people directly, it's actually the easiest way, and just say like, hey, I noticed you liked my music. I wanted to make sure to stay in touch with you and let you know when I have, this, the version of this that's the final version of this done. Would it be all right for me to put you on my email list? I promise I won't share your information with anyone, something like that. And that would be if you're able to reach out to them in some way through Music X-Ray. And I think they do have messaging inside of there. So, oh, there it is.
Uh-oh.
So if you we're trying to join on time and you had some kind of an issue with the website, just let us know and we'll make sure you get the bonus. If you're still thinking about joining, we do have the all those other bonuses are available. And just to remind you, the most valuable bonus, I mean, we got lots of great stuff here, but one of the most valuable bonuses here is this, because we can't afford to do this with everyone all the time, but we can do one with you to get you started on the right foot. And then you come to the group calls, and our group is small enough that and not everybody has a question all the time. So you can come, and if you've got a question, you can get it answered and we can talk about your situation specifically. But this is super helpful with Beth, because it gets people started on the right foot. It gets you creating your first 90-day goals. And so you know that you're going to be successful in this program and on the musician's profit path right off the bat. So this is available for the next 5 days, and you'll be getting emails to remind you. But don't wait, jump into the academy. We would love to have you. And just as a reminder, sorry, I'm like giving whiplash with these slides, but I just wanted to throw this up here as a reminder of what's included. You get all of this stuff, whichever plan you get, but then you also, if you buy the annual plan, you get the free Diva ads package with, many of you, in fact, everyone like a lot of people I just saw in here, I know you've been on Women of Substance radio podcast before, and you know how awesome it is. and how you can then advertise. You've heard advertisements on there. You can advertise, you know, anything that you're doing, an upcoming album, an upcoming, maybe you redid your website and you want to get people, maybe you want to get people on your email list, whatever you want to advertise is you can do that for free with this ads package that you'll get. Plus you get 2 months free for the annual. So it's so worth it. So I'm going to just scroll back here and make sure that everybody knows that it is musiciansprofitpath.com/buy. That is the link. And I'm going to stay here and finish answering any questions that you guys have. So I am going to like come on screen though. So I'm going to shut down this.
And
Slides.
Kate and Kristen just bought. They're good
Woo!
members, so
Yay!
they just joined.
Super
So
excited.
yes, I am too. I think that's really cool. Um, and there are more questions,
Okay.
and I know some of these, some are about like emails and things like that, and I don't know if you want to go through one at a time or kind of. I know that I can just say this, ladies, that things about like email and EPKs and stuff. If you come into the academy, you're going to get so much help with that.
All totally
Not
covered. We have
so,
trainings on all of those things, like step by step.
yeah.
So, and then, we always have questions that come up about it at our live calls too. So it's like, we're always talking about that stuff.
There was a question from Anne that was just saying, do you sell the individual trainings like those you showed us, like example at $97 a la carte? Are
We
there
do
some of
sell
those that?
some of them. So like you can buy the goal setting course. You can buy that for $97. You can buy I'm trying to think of what else is available, like the profitable live streaming and the pump up your PR. Like those are available separately on at musicians. I'm sorry, at femalemusicianacademy.com. But to me, like the number of things and the help that you get inside of the academy, like, and if you love songwriting and you want to be in a group to like kick your butt to write more songs, Gail does a great job with that in the academy as well. And there's so much support. And that's like just an extra added thing that the academy members wanted, that we said, yeah, we'll totally support that. I'll, make sure that I've got somebody in charge of it that's going to do a really good job. And Gail is awesome. So that's another bonus too, that I often forget to mention, but it's like, that's like so cool that we do that.
Yeah.
I think so. And we've been doing these live showcases once a quarter, and it's so great to see the songs people are writing.
Yes, it's amazing. And just that piece to me of the academy, like if you're a songwriter, that might be worth every penny you pay, just that, or the Zoom calls. I
Totally.
mean, there's so many aspects that could make it so worth it for you to join. Um, let's see. Lolo was talking about oh, okay, 12 years. She said, I've been pro 12 years in Stockholm, both in dancing and singing. And let's see, published songwriting. She moved home again. I'm just kind of, it's a long one, but focus on being a conscious artist, working a lot in personal development, where she combines her songs, 10 songs to release. She said she needs a plan and followers, and wondering if she can combine this all, like everything she's doing with this group, like with the Female Academy.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, sorry, I might have missed some of that in there, which of all the things that she's doing. But I mean, as you saw, like we teach building your music career as a business. So I have people in the academy that are doing all kinds of things. They want to have a speaking business, as well as a singing business, and they do it in the academy because it's the same principles, right, of building a business. I have other people that are like building a teaching business as well as being a singer songwriter. And so you can absolutely take all the principles that are in the academy and do whatever you're wanting to do with them for sure. But it's also tailored specifically for musicians, which is great.
Okay, I don't know if you answered this already. I know she had asked one question about a la carte, but this is from Anne. She says, Hi, Tara and Bree, thank you for this. I'm currently working the Modern Musician program that Bree presented months ago. I believe I'm at a point where I would like to focus in on the 90-day goal setting. I've released 10 CDs independently and have done 2 successful campaign fundraisers and a mailing list of 1,600. She's cultivating her fan base. However, I still feel I need help in planning at the 90 increments you've shown here. Do you offer this a la carte? Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So yes, you can buy that a la carte, and I know your music is fantastic. Wow, 10 albums. And yeah, if you're working with Michael, Michael is a really high, like a much more high end program, and it's very specific. So yeah, if you're doing that, like I would just get the 90-day goal stuff and do it with what they're doing, and that should be good for you.
Okay, Victoria says, could being a member of the Academy help me to create and release a covers album? My partner is listening who needs convincing, by the way.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So joining me, here's the thing. Okay. I was just doing a workshop about this the other day about my Rock Your Next Release program, right? We sell this separately. It's $497 for just that program. And people buy it. People are buying it all the time. And I was just meeting with my students yesterday. And that would be what you need to do the album that you want to do. But then if you join the academy, which is like just a little bit more, you get all this other support, right? You get weekly calls, you get the goal setting, you get the call with Beth, you get all that stuff on top of that program that is specifically for releasing an album. So I think it's perfect for you, Victoria.
Yay. Okay, B, I don't know who B is, but I'm so happy you're here. Says, hi, does the program go through step-by-step things like setting up websites, platforms, and all involved with digital distribution and email platforms and how to navigate the ones you're using, the nitty-gritty step-by-step?
Yes. So, and if we don't cover it in the training, then you can come with your question weekly and, we'll help you. Like if it's, if you're using MailChimp, like it just so happens that Tara uses MailChimp and she can answer your question. Or if you're using Bandzoogle, then like other people can answer your question. We love Bandzoogle inside the Academy. If you're using ConvertKit, that's what I use. I can answer your question. So the great thing about a group like this is like you have the power of the crowd to help you. Like a lot of other things that happen, like someone will be, I got this email, this person, they want to do this with my music. They want to promote it, but they want to charge me this much. Do you think this is a scam? Or, and we'll help them navigate that. Or like people will be like, oh yeah, I've seen that email before. It's a total scam. So it's great when you have the power of other minds and other experiences to help you navigate what you're going through.
Yeah, that's so great. And by the way, I just wanted to mention Beth did pop on here for those of you who we saw her picture on here. She was going to be in the chat with us, but because she couldn't actually be writing in the chat so you'd see it.
Yeah, that was sad.
She just wanted to make sure and that's the type of person she is too, that so if you get to meet with her, you come into the academy, get to meet with her. She's just so in your corner too, as much as Bree is. So
Beth is also a working musician who went through this program. So she's in
she
it
knows.
just like you guys. So she knows, she could have just gotten off a booking call before talking to you on a Zoom meeting. So, that's what's great is like
Right.
I am running this business and I am not in the trenches anymore. I'm in the trenches of marketing for sure, and email and social media and all that. But I'm not booking myself as an artist right now. That's why I have Tara and Beth, because they are. And I want to make sure that all the bases are covered for you guys.
Let's see. Bree, Anne did ask a question. This was earlier, and it was in response or regards to, she says, please review how the engagement and sales automation works with a couple of real world examples.
Oh, wow. Well, that could get complicated.
I know.
Basically, you would want to have an email system, which a lot of them do, that have like you can use automated sequences. So for me, I use ConvertKit, and we can set up a sequence and say, we want our whole email list to go through that sequence after they've been on, our email list for 5 days or something. And maybe that sequence is then in each email, you're introducing them to something that you want them to know about in your music career or take action on. Maybe you want them to go follow you on Spotify. And then maybe in the next one, that you want to show them about some kind of merch that you have and see if they're interested in it. And then you want to tell a story about being in the studio and, just like nurture them toward maybe then getting them to buy a copy of your album or something. So that's kind of how you use automation and nurture sequences in your business. But I don't recommend going to those right away. Like I say stage 2, which I know, Anne, you're past that. You're in stage 4. But in stage 2, I recommend just set up a welcome email. So when people join your list, you're able to tell them what you want them to know, and maybe ask them to like take an action, like follow you on Spotify or follow you on Instagram or wherever you're most active. And then you don't have to do it individually to each person, right? You've got it set up and automated.
Hey, Bree, Clef asks, how long will these packages be at the prices quoted?
5 days. So if you have 5 days to get all the bonuses that we offer here, that I showed you on that big table there, and the bonus time with Beth, the Divas package if you want to get the annual. So those are available for 5 days, and you'll be getting emails to remind you when it's closing and stuff.
Maybe just one or two more questions, do you think?
Yeah.
Or how are we? Elena says, have you noticed genre impacting success or genres?
I have noticed genre impacting people's mindset of their success, because I get a lot of people coming to me going, you know what I mean, Tara? Like they're like, I'm
Yes.
in this genre and I don't think that anyone's, buying things, or I don't think anyone is doing gigs or whatever. And it's totally not true. Um, we have students in the academy that are everything from, um, a harpist to a singer songwriter to someone that does like totally classical music to, a pop, like electronica kind of person. I mean, we have like every genre, and every kind. We have bands, we have duos, we have individuals, we have like everything that you can think of. And it's all about whether they're actually applying the system, they believe that it can work for them, and it's not about their genre. So, yeah, you might have to tweak it a little bit. It might look a little bit different. You might do different kinds of venues. You might do more live streaming if you're more of an electronica artist, because it's harder for you to perform live, but you can make it work for your genre.
I agree with that. I just want to say that too, because I do think it is the mindset. Because just think about how many artists do you guys listen to? That are from different genres. A lot of us enjoy a lot of different genres, so there's always going to be a fan base for your whatever you're doing. I think similar people.
Yeah.
Gail was asking just about, she put it a couple of times, but she said, do you use an email client for your fan email interaction? And if so, your suggestions.
Absolutely. Do not use your personal email account. You will get banned. It probably, will eventually go to spam. It will cause big problems and you'll get in trouble. So you need to use an email client of some kind. I recommend when artists are starting out, they can use the one that comes with Bandzoogle, because Bandzoogle is who we love to recommend. And if you ever want to use them and you're not in the academy, let me know and I'll give you a promo code, because you can try them out for free and get a discount and stuff, because I just love them. They have a built-in email list. It's not robust yet, but it works when you're on the lower stages. And then when you get up to the level where you want to do automation, then you want to use something like, we've had conversations. In fact, a few weeks ago, we had conversations on our weekly call about this. And you can use MailChimp, you can use ConvertKit, you can use Flowdesk, any of those work. They all just have different kind of pricing structures. So it depends on what you're looking for.
I just want to encourage you, ladies who are here too, that if you have, you're thinking like, well, there's this aspect like email or other things. We have had so many trainings, like even monthly, or like Bree said, it's come up in the phone calls. So you're going to be covered.
Right.
Don't
I didn't
feel
even
like
mention that we do monthly themes. So,
yeah.
every month where, maybe our theme is collaboration. And then when Tara does her booking call, she specifically talks about, well, how can you collaborate with other artists to get more bookings and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
we're always trying to do the trainings that we feel our community needs.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty
Yeah,
much
I just want to
the
check and
questions.
see if anyone has any more questions about the Academy itself. And if
Yeah.
you're like on the fence and you're still thinking about joining, but you're not sure, that kind of thing. And I'm so excited for all the new people that joined. I cannot wait to work with you.
Yay.
Any more questions coming through?
I'm not seeing any right
So
now.
crazy that the chat wasn't working. That just is such a pain.
Yeah, we feel bad, you guys, because I know it feels more community when you can actually,
Yes.
read each other's comments. But I'm actually going to put my video back on too. So if you ever
Yeah.
see me, because for those of you who join, you're going next Friday, a week from tomorrow. I'll be doing the Friday call with those of you who are in the academy. So
That's right.
here's who I am. So
Awesome. Okay, well, I probably just need to rest my voice now because it's literally been 2 hours. So I have loved hanging out with you guys. I'm excited to hang out with all of you who are joining the Academy in the future for the next year. So excited. So, and like Tara said, our next call is coming up soon. So we have a call every week. So our next one is next week, and you will get all the information on your welcome email, which is automated, by the way. Welcome email to let you know, and then several other automated emails to make sure that you know about the Facebook group and all that stuff and where to find things. So just watch for those, and we will see you guys in the Academy, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.